My name is Linda Phillips, and I'm the Tippecanoe County Assessor. Well, I think the question is, how did we manage our documents? I think how did we mismanage our documents would really be the more accurate question. Prior to my taking office, for example, one of the forms that we deal with in great numbers are personal property tax returns. And the system for managing personal property tax returns were to take the paper documents. First they would sort them by taxing district, then they would alphabetize each taxing district by taxpayer name, then they would hole punch them and put them in binders. So when I took office, we had shelf after shelf after shelf after shelf of binders full of tax returns. That had several problems. The alphabetized name of the taxpayer may or may not have been even remotely related to the actual business. So if you were looking for the tax return for, say, Quality XYZ Company, and their actual legal name was Better Business, then you couldn't find it. So when I took office, we moved quickly towards at least digitizing those paper documents. Well, the primary result that I was looking for from digitizing documents was to get speed of recovery, eliminate lost documents, which was a huge problem, and to take up less space. I mean, here in government we kill so many trees, we really shouldn't do more. So, one of the advantages after we digitized, and we've done both forward and backwards, when I took office in 2011, we started immediately digitizing the new returns that started coming in March. So as a return came in, it was processed, and then it was digitized, we scanned them, and then destroyed the paper. And as we've had time, we've gone backwards. We've had 2010, 2009, and now we're working on 2008. And we have gotten rid of some 40 filing cabinets, dozens of shelves, and I have given empty notebooks to everybody I can find. Well, a lot of the space actually was in unheated storage. A lot of our documents were there, so frankly, as we've emptied them out, I've just turned the space back to the commissioners for them to do other things with. So we've not, and the filing cabinets, we've been selling those off for scrap value. So. Because most of them are World War II vintage. It was time for them to go. Well, we of course obviously started with DocuWare. I had used DocuWare in a previous job and was impressed by the ease of use and the results that we were able to get with it. So, frankly, I just called up my friends at IRA and I ordered a couple of scanners and got set up the filing cabinets in DocuWare, and we just started going. Well, the obstacles really were more changing people's minds. There were a number of employees who could not conceive of processing these except in alphabetical order. And so I explained that, computer databases are remarkably good at alphabetizing, and that just took time that would have been better spent processing documents or helping customers or doing a better job. So, because we used to spend hours and hours and hours sorting through piles of paper. So, and we don't do that anymore. They come in whatever order, we enter them, we scan them, and they get shredded. Yes, there's absolutely anytime I want to look at a document in a year, I can search by a variety of fields. I have the taxpayer's name, I have their ID number, I have the location address. I can search on any of those things, and I can always find what I need, even when the taxpayer doesn't really know what they're asking for. Oh, absolutely. We spend so much less time dealing with paper. It comes in, it still comes to us on paper. Unfortunately, that's one of the little quirks of Indiana's system, we are not yet able to accept electronic filing. That's my next goal, but at the moment we're doing the best we can, and we just don't, there's so many fewer steps. Right, yeah, we do have some constraints. We are still in a, government is unfortunately very paper-based in their communications with taxpayers. And we still need an actual original signature on these forms. And we're hoping to get that changed with the legislature, but it's a time, it's a little bite at a time thing. So. Well, we have a number of different things that we do in this office besides personal property. Personal property is one of the biggest ones. We've also used DocuWare and that technology for inheritance tax returns. We use it for all the correspondence, all the payroll, all of our purchasing documents. Those are scanned. And there are still some departments that need paper, but I certainly don't need 2 copies of it. I don't need a copy, they don't need a copy. So we scan the original, we have the scan, and then we send the paper on to the next department for processing. Ultimately, I would like for us to get a unified system where we don't have paper. But as I said, this is government, and there's years and years of work and mindset to overcome. Well, I think one of the huge changes and advantages of DocuWare and digital management of paper is that we just don't have it laying around. We used to have, as I said, shelf after shelf after shelf full of binders full of paper. We had filing cabinets full of paper, and we're able to not deal with those. It takes a lot less time to call a document up in DocuWare than it does to get up, go find the right notebook, flip through it and hope to heck it's there. It's an enormous time saving for everybody. Well, advice to others who want to change. I mean, unfortunately in government, I think we end up with a lot of people who really like their filing cabinets. I am not one of them, so. But I think one of the things I would say is that, as elected officials, you're in charge. You get to decide how you process your paper. I mean, you have some constraints, of course. There are legal requirements for how long you have to keep things. But you're in charge, and if you want to make a change, you can do it, and your staff will come along. At first, when I suggested that we were not going to alphabetize these documents, there was just, gasps of horror. But everybody now is with the program, and it's so much easier and faster, and they can spend time doing things that really matter. Oh, yeah, IRA has been very helpful, and they have certainly they do seminars and annual meetings, and they're happy to come and talk to you about ways that you can do things better. And that's been great, and I really look forward to using some of the advantages and some of the things that are available now that haven't been available in the past, and I'd like to expand it, but there are other challenges. IRA helped me develop a roadmap when I was in the clerk's office, and that was a very successful roadmap, but it gave me the skills and the questions to ask to do this one on my own. Now, there is not a slight doubt in my mind if I had called IRA and said, help, I need a roadmap here, they'd have been down here the next day. But in this particular instance, I knew how DocuWare worked, I knew its advantages, and there really wasn't anything that I needed from them to get started at this level. Well, IRA has been very helpful. They first sold the system to my predecessor in the clerk's office, and she was a wonderful lady, but perhaps her understanding of what DocuWare could and should do wasn't perhaps as advanced as mine. So IRA, when I took office, they came in, I'd called them because I recognized pretty quickly that DocuWare had an enormous amount of power that we weren't tapping, and they've been very helpful. They sent people down to do training. They gave us ideas that other clerks had used. And, we expanded, and it got to the point where, we were so excited about DocuWare, the county eventually bought a site license so all county departments could use it. And so now many departments do use it. Many use it simply for archiving, but some are advancing to using it to document process. But, it's a process, and it's just so nice to watch those filing cabinets leave this building.
That's a real biggie for you.
It is. I love filing cabinets.